Good evening, stock traders. Today is March 11th, 2007, and this is Tony Oz, host of Stock Trader TV. We did indeed have a lot of volatility recently with NASDAQ crashing down and the Dow being down more than 548 points. This increased volatility, however, represents opportunity for our short-term traders. So first, I would like to analyze the market starting with the NASDAQ chart. The chart we're looking at here is the NASDAQ 50-day and has a blue line, which is the 50-day moving average, and the red line, which is the 20-day moving average. And the NASDAQ topped at 25.31 and has traded down and made a low at 23.40. What I want you to notice is these last 3 days, okay? The market closed higher on these 3 days than it closed on this day here. However, notice that every day the closing price was below the opening price. So the Nasdaq has gapped up 3 consecutive days, yet it closed lower every day. And you know what this is telling us? It's telling us that there is a lot of weakness out there. The market is squeezing higher overnight in the futures market, gaps up, and sells off during the trading day. So this is telling me that there is some serious resistance levels during the trading day around these lows over here. And what I would expect is moderate resistance from about 2400, 2415 to 2430, with very strong resistance between 2430 and 2450, where the moving average is coming into play. The 100-day moving average, which we're looking at here, is at 2445, and the 50% retracement level for this down move falls on 2435. So between 2435 and 2450, we can expect some serious resistance, and the play would be to sell short around those price levels and place a stop loss above the high of the day. And what we'll be looking for is a retest of these lows. And let me tell you, as a fund manager, I will not buy this market unless I see that this low has been tested and the market has held. So I'm expecting this level to be tested again. So if we do rally up to about here, it will be a good point to take a short position, place a stop loss above the highs, and look for all this reward in on the potential trade. The next chart we're going to look at is the Dow chart. And the Dow is kind of showing us the same thing. We had the big sell-off, and here's the rally. However, on the Dow, these lines are not red, even though they should be, because the Dow's closing price or opening price reflects the previous the opening price of the day reflects the previous closing price. But it's not really like that because the futures market actually moved the market higher, and it opens higher. Each one of these opening prices were higher than previous close. Anyways, let's look at the Dow, and it's setting what I think right here a continuation pattern. This will be our trend, or this could be a flag pole, and we can be setting up a trading range, which will be called a continuation pattern. And I expect that to be resolved to the downside eventually, or at least test this level, and I mean to the bottom of the range. And eventually, if it does break this low, to go lower. If it doesn't break this low, then we may make a double bottom or triple bottom and shoot back up. But right now, this level should be like a magnet. And if we look at the S&P chart, we can see that the S&P actually came down, same as the Dow, and making kind of the same pattern. But I want to look at this moving average here, which is the blue line. And that is what we hit on Friday. That is the S&P 100-day moving average. And a failure to go over that price level would most likely mean a test of this low. And potentially, if we do take this low, this 200-day moving average really is going to come into play. All right. So the play here on the S&P, I think there's serious resistance moving forward all the way up to this level, but mainly between 1410 and 1420, and playing that on the short side with stop losses above the highs, and we're looking for this as a price target, and potentially even that 200-day moving average, which is all the way down at 1350 or so. So that's what I'm looking for as far as the S&P is concerned, and this is why I think the Dow um, and the Nasdaq may have difficulty going any higher before selling off because the S&P already hit the 100-day moving average. But if should the S&P rally to about 1420, that'll be probably a good point to try and take a short position and play for retest of the lows. We had 71 skyscraper setups this weekend, and I mean, if we want to look at one of them here, maybe we can look at SNDK, which came down and after rallying, I mean, came down. It's a downtrend and coming down. Now with this stock, I'm not recommending selling it short because it already started its move. But what I want to tell you guys to do is, if you are thinking the market is gonna show weakness or continue to show weakness during the trading day, look for brand new, fresh skyscraper setups with nice runs and a potential sell-off to go and test those lows if you're not actually playing the indexes. There's a couple of stocks I actually want to show you today which are showing some serious strength. Now, I'm not telling you guys to sell these stocks short. I'm not telling you guys to go and buy them tomorrow either, but these stocks are showing strength. I'm going to put a chart here that shows the volume, and this is the average 20-day volume, and you can see how high these volume bars are going up on this particular stock. Now, I want you to remember that these are purely technical. They're from the Oz Scanner. I did not check news on them. I do not know the fundamentals. So whatever is happening with these stocks could be any kind of story. But just looking at it technically, what I would do on a stock like that is I would look to buy a pullback back to this level. Now, the way I check it out is I look at an intraday chart. In this case, I'm going to look at a 30-minute chart. And this one had a very nice run up. It's starting to pull back a little bit. I would look for a pullback around to this level right here as an entry. And if we look at a daily chart again, you can see that this is the level which I broke out of. And let's look for a pullback to about that level for potential buy. Stop loss below the low of the day. And if this stock remains strong, it should keep going higher, obviously. The next stock is SMSY, and this one already started its uptrend and started to correct. Already starting the correction here. And if we look at the 30-day with the volume, you can see the volume came in here. That was the first time it moved up. A little bit of digestion of the initial move. Kept it moving up. You see the volume is increasing, even though on a down day here. What we'd look for again is, if we look at the intraday chart, is a pullback to about the levels right here, which is around $16. I think that'll be a good safe entry with a stop loss below maybe these lows, and looking up for 18 and possibly even 20. Anyways, this is gonna do it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know, send me feedback on how you feel about the show and what would you like to see next week. Have a great weekend, and see you all next week, and remember to trade smart.